Hello, my name is Kiki. My project is inspired by folk tales. These stories are often shared and passed down through generations. The act of storytelling used to be predominantly shared through word of mouth, but to preserve them they often need to be written down. A famous folk story which has survived centuries is the Mabinogion, a collection of 11 tales written before the 14th century. Researching these tales was the initial catalyst of my project. These folk stories then led me to researching the myths and meaning behind local place names. One in particular was the story of Penllyn y Gyrach, a story shared by my father many times during my childhood. My father is an avid and talented storyteller. The act of sharing family interpretations of stories has been the main inspiration for my work, and my intention is to create a constellation of tools to aid in the imaginative and creative process of sharing stories, and ultimately seeing them as family heirlooms to be passed down. To celebrate how profound of an effect this story had on me, I decided to portray the story through shadow casting. The story tells a tale of a witch hunt that took place along the ridge of the Canela Mountain. This was the first iteration of bringing oral storytelling to life through a different medium. Following on from looking at local place names, it was evident that family members had different interpretations of the same story. This led to my intention of creating numerous family stories and preserving them in written form. I see this book as a reference point where the stories can be lifted from the page into the imagination of the reader. This book will be one of the items in the curiosity box, something I'll talk about later. The book will contain stories such as Corn and Ido, which involves three brothers, my great uncles, and an untimely death and the mystical reaction of a beloved dog. This story has a strong relationship with its place, an isolated slate quarry community, which from the eyes of my childhood innocence had a profound effect on how I perceived the landscape and the community itself. The book will be a record of how stories can be interpreted differently in the same family, and subsequently how the stories are translated by the next generation. This is more evident than ever for me due to inheriting the responsibility of sharing these stories to my own daughter and keeping them alive. Whilst my own father is an avid storyteller through speech, I wanted to translate my skill set into the process of retelling and sharing stories by creating tactile objects. This is where I developed my characters as a tool of storytelling. I first began with illustrating the characters and transferring them onto different materials. Whilst these act as a visual aid of the character's physical appearance, the storyteller has their freedom to imagine the character's unique personality. The object and the main component of the Curiosity Box. The Curiosity Box is a myriad of tools to celebrate storytelling. It will mainly include the ceramic maquettes, playing cards, and the book of family stories. I see it as a precious heirloom that can be revisited from time to time, and bring these tales from the precipice of extinction back to life and celebrated by the younger generations. My intention is to make a film to portray the object in use once finished. The film is a response and celebration of stories collected and constellations of the object created. The film will take place on my maternal grandparents' farm. The curiosity cabinet of my work will be discovered by a child. The film will play with the reality and the contrast with an imaginative world created by the child. The portrayal of the child's imagination will be a combination of audio, shadow casting, stop frame animation, and the ceramic maquettes will be entwined throughout. Thank you very much.